But I'm wondering if it lasts for them, if it has some lasting impact on their confidence.
It's a good question. And I think I can't say that it's different from everybody else, but I think it is a little bit different, is we really focus on how we want people to feel, not how we want them to feel, how they want to feel, but we
Right.
focus on pulling that out for them, not just how they look. I mean, obviously, I think how you look on the outside definitely affects how you feel on the inside, but
Hmm.
um, when we always remember how we feel, how someone made us feel, how an experience made us feel, how, we don't always remember all the details of things necessarily, but we definitely, like, in our bodies, we remember good and bad, like how that
Right.
made us feel.
Well, welcome to Next Level Empowerment. And I want to welcome Shayna Hardy. We met a few weeks ago. And when I found out that her work is all about helping women come into their confidence their way, I was pretty excited because she's just doing something that's so lovely. And Shayna, I don't want to do the introduction. I want you to talk about what it is that you do for women and with women.
Okay, yes. So I am a photographer, a portrait photographer. So most of my clients are women. I do photograph men, but mostly women. That's just kind of what I'm drawn
Yeah.
to and what I enjoy. So primarily I do both boudoir photography and also personal branding, headshots. So just my I don't know, my mission, my vision, my tagline, whatever you want to call it. I even got a tattooed on my arm is that it says deserve to be seen. So just, my whole thing is I want women to know that they deserve to be seen in whatever capacity whatever that means for them. And, you know, obviously photographs is one way, but it's also not just about that. It's about just the experience of going outside your comfort zone and, challenging yourself a little bit or maybe a lot of it. So yeah, that's primarily the mode that I like. And I also just like talking and working with women and just being in community with them too. So however I can pass that message along.
Women are so powerful. And when you put us together, what I absolutely love about women in a group is that we suddenly have our more confidence.
Hmm.
We're able to share and we have incredible wisdom, and it's pretty magical. So
Yeah.
the women who come to you, what are the reasons that they're wanting their confidence to be boosted?
Oh, yes. It's lots of different reasons, honestly. And I think that, like, I'm a strong believer in, like, the energy that you put out is like the energy you're going to get back in. And, um, you just, if you're careful, like, you attract what you kind of put out too, both good and bad, but to try to.
Amen to that.
A lot of women, I think, um, not I think, I know what women who come to me want to do it for themselves. I think there's like a misnomer that people are wanting that, especially for boudoir, that women are doing it, and it can be, not saying that's wrong, to do it as a gift or as something for somebody else, which it can be. But for me, I find that the women who come to me are doing it, for themselves for the most part. And it can be for a lot of reasons. One, they're reaching a milestone in life and they're like kind of reevaluating, we kind of get to those age milestones or
Mhm.
um, you know, getting married, getting divorced. I get a lot of divorce. I'm divorced, so I feel like I
Mhm.
attract that as well too, which is a good thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, um, there's on some sort of could be a health journey that they're celebrating.
Ooh,
It could just be that they are just sort of reevaluating where they're at, and just wanting to,
yeah.
like, not I always tell everybody, like, that I talk with, I'm like, I love that they're taking action on it. Like, it's really easy to just be like, I guess this is what it is. It's my lot in life. I guess I'm just gonna feel this way. And but I love
Mm-mm.
that, the women who are coming to me are like, I know I can and want to feel differently. I feel like
Yeah.
this step, I don't think it's like, I don't think anything's a cure-all, but it could be a step in the journey to, like, getting myself out of my comfort zone and proving to myself that I can do something I'm not really sure if I can or not yet. So,
Right. Right. Well, I have a question for you because I've never been married, so I've never been divorced.
okay.
um, and what are now? I know that lately the stats are showing that lots of women are leaving their husbands. Like
Hmm.
it's a thing right now where women are going, I've had enough of putting myself not only second but last or not at all,
Yeah.
and so I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
But when you get divorced, is there still? I know there was in the 50s, but that's a long time ago. We hope.
Yeah.
Um, kind of. Um, is there something socially that is an impact on the emotional body of women who are divorced or getting divorced?
Um, you mean like kind of like a judgment sort of thing? Is that what you're kind of sort
A
of?
judgment, a self-judgment, a shaming,
I,
oh, I failed, or something like that.
yeah, I mean, having gone through it myself, like I guess I can speak to myself. And I think I spoke to a woman yesterday actually who's kind of actually two of my three clients that I spoke to yesterday are both going through a divorce right now.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a little bit dependent on the situation of why it happened, but I think, yeah,
Mm.
because I don't think anybody goes into a marriage like, oh, well, I'm gonna get divorced probably. I mean, like, not a goal usually. So, um,
No.
so I think like it's even if it wasn't quote unquote your fault, I mean, it's two people that it takes it to make it work. Even if it's something that like somebody else did and you had no other choice or whatever the situation may be, it's still like it's still a trauma. It's still something you have to like heal from. Even in whether it's a marriage or even a long-term relationship or anything like that, a friendship even sometimes, like whenever something kind of breaks apart for one reason or
Yeah.
another, like it's still something you have to heal from. And um, and it takes some introspection to be able to like go back and be like, okay, well, maybe they did something terribly and I had no other choice, but what could I have done? What can I do differently? Or how now that I've learned from that, how do I want to show up differently? So I had been married for 20 years and I dedicate a lot, and I'm not regretful of this, but taking care of kids and kind of putting myself, like you said, a little bit on the back burner.
Yeah.
Not really, I think, living into what I wanted to. So when I was like, I don't like, I've been part of a couple since I was like 19 years old, and I got divorced when I was like 40 something. So
Wow.
all of my adult life. So I had to like, all right, who am I? I mean, it's like I had to date myself. Like, what kind of flowers do I like? What kind of music do I like? What kind of hobbies do I want to explore? Just kind of like take myself
Yes.
out and figure that out for myself too. And I think that's good at any age, any stage for anybody, just to like really kind of even if regardless of whether you're married, divorced, coupled or not, but like I think so much time our life is so busy and so go, go, go and do, 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 especially for women. We don't take the time to pause and be like, all right, where do I want to put my energy? What do I like? What do I not like? That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's good for any point in time.
Yeah. I was thinking as you were talking that I hope that women are taking a moment to not need to go back into the dating pool if that's where they're going or whatever, to say I'm sexy enough, because socially this is something that I help people put back there, because sexiness is actually natural. It's
Yeah.
like a natural extension of who you are when you're being you,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But we're not taught that.
No.
So I'm wondering if the people who come to you who do the boudoir stuff is better, because I know you don't only do boudoir. Like people
Yeah.
can come dressed to the nines if they want to do
Sure.
whatever
Of
they
course. Yeah.
want. But I'm wondering if it lasts for them, if it has some lasting impact on their confidence.
It's a good question. And I think I can't say that it's different from everybody else, but I think it is a little bit different, is we really focus on how we want people to feel. Not how we want them to feel, how they want to feel, but we
Right.
focus on pulling that out for them, not just how they look. I mean, obviously, I think how you look on the outside definitely affects how you feel on the inside, but
Mm-hmm.
um, when we always remember how we feel, how someone made us feel, how an experience made us feel, how we don't always remember all the details of things necessarily, but we definitely like in our bodies we remember good and bad, like how that
Right.
made us feel. So even from our first phone call with when women when they're inquiring, we're asking them like if you could what is something you want to feel? Like if you haven't like I don't think we're creating anything new. I think we're just kind of pulling it to the surface, helping them pull something to the surface a little bit more for them, and
Right.
asking them like if this is like if you look back at this, what would you love to be able to like feel again for yourself? With something you haven't felt in a long time that you would love to be able to like look back at this evidence and these portraits and be like, oh, yes, because I want them to be able to look at that and remember how they felt during that time. And we get answers from, bold, powerful, sexy, dainty, strong, whatever, badass. It can be whatever.
That's my word. I love that word.
Yes, yes. I've got a coffee mug in my office with that on. Um, So there's no right or wrong answer to that,
Right.
and but we use that however it is that they want to feel throughout their experience. It can be, in things in posing and lighting and just how we are speaking and like what we want to pull out from them and just reminding them of that, of how they want to feel. And we have some things we do out throughout the experience to help them kind of remember that as well too. So
It's so important for us to embody an experience of that confidence, of that badassery, because if we don't embody it, then it's just like a momentary thing.
yeah, exactly. That's why we focus on that because I think the feelings can last if we keep coming back to them, give them reminders and have that evidence for them that they can continue to remind themselves of how they on the days you're not feeling so hot, feeling so good, whatever, like you can look back at that and be like, okay, if I can do it once, I can do it again. Like whatever's, just kind of gives you
Right.
the confidence that even if it's unrelated, it's just something that you did the thing that you weren't sure if you could do or not. And,
Right.
move the next thing.
Yeah. Well, is this a rule breaking kind of situation? Did you say, you know what? I just want to do something that's not the norm, or what inspired you to step through this door?
Uh, yeah, I don't. So I started, fortunately I had, experience, like my dad grew up, was an entrepreneur. So I had the example of
So
like
cool.
doing something, it's not easy. You run your own thing, right?
No, it's
Um,
not.
Not for the faint of heart necessarily. Um,
Nope.
but so I fortunately had a good example in that. So I think, and he also was kind of a rule breaker in a sense. Like when he was a professor at a university, he got in trouble for wearing green glasses or bell bottom, whatever it was, like just silly things, that we would think are silly now, but at that time in the 70s was like a thing.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I had an example of like, um, pushing the limits a little bit or just not being afraid to do what you want to do. And whether that's breaking my own rules of like or society's rules. I think I think it's getting better. I think we're
Yep.
evolving a bit, but I think there's still a ways to go of women feeling like we can openly express our sexuality, that we shouldn't be ashamed of that. It's like,
Right.
uh, we just have these norms we can't keep up with. Like people are like, well, you should be feminine, but don't be too feminine. Don't show us too much. We should like show us enough to be like so we can see you. Oh, but be modest. Like don't, so it's like there's no, we have to kind of like make up our own rules to be like whatever, feels good for me, I'm gonna do that. And then whatever
Yeah.
feels good for the next person, like there's no and I think going through the things that I've gone through in life and divorce being one of them, I've just really come to a lot of empathy um with women who've gone, even if it's not related to divorce, but it could be anything else. So like you do you, like you have to like go out and
Right.
live however it's gonna like fulfill what you want to do, if that's breaking your own rules that you or
Yep.
from our parents or rules from our church or a society or schools, like um it's gonna I feel like if we try to like run the path that someone else is telling us to do, it's going to come out in other ways. It probably is not going to be a good way. Like we have to figure out our own path. And so I've taken some twists and turns and I've done engineering as my background. I've done
Wow.
teaching. I've done worked at a nonprofit. Like I've kind of had to figure out my
Yeah.
path. And I've done this the longest, so I guess I'll do this when I grow up. But um, but yeah, I
Well,
think it's just
yeah.
I don't know if it's about breaking rules, but I think it's definitely about like finding what rules work for you, you know, and following
Yeah.
those.
following your own path is what I would say. Because the word rules is starting to sound interesting to me because um, especially we womenpreneurs, I think we go through a lot of different aspects, a lot of different businesses, a lot of different tries, and we go, what's happening here? And I have discovered that the big thing that's missing in all of the entrepreneurship that's taught, all of the business building that's taught, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in corporate America, is the feminine is kept out of it completely.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about the fact that, oh yeah, I built this, I'm a big titan of industry because my wife, you know, did all these millions of things so that I could focus, and also gave me the emotional support, and also my administrative assistant and my marketing manager and all these people did all this other stuff for me that is nurturing and growing. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have to do it for ourselves, we're like, and we don't even recognize it, so it can be a real sticking place. But I'm getting off topic. Actually, I was
No,
going to
that's
say
good. It's on topic. That's good. I like it. Very
but you
correct.
and I are like bookends,
Yes.
because and this is like acting. Have you ever done acting?
I've not. No.
Okay, so I've been a professional actor very minimally. I never made it to the Julia Roberts status, but um, there's something called outside in acting, which
Okay.
is where you let the costume inform you about who the character is, how the character feels. So that's
Absolutely.
what you're doing, the acting. You're doing the outside in
Hmm.
work. I
That's
do
true.
the inside out. I do both, but
Yeah.
really I want women to be able to step into their confidence and understand what confidence is. So
Mhm.
I was thinking about this, and I actually ended up doing like a course and putting out a course about it, because I was like, wait a minute, what is confidence?
Yeah.
Because right, like you look at the TV or the movies and you're like, oh, she's so badass, and she's like, I'm all that, and then you try to do it and you're like, wait a minute, I feel like I think I'm all that. Well, you are all that actually, but I decided, and you tell me how this hits you, that confidence is knowing that you know what you know.
Hmm. Yes. I think so too, but I think it's also part of like I think when people think of the word, I also think of the word brave, or I actually hate the word fearless. I think that's a stupid word. But
I
like
agree.
but I think when people think of the word brave, they think that you have to have the confidence to do something. And I think it's the opposite. I think bravery is doing something even though you're scared, even though you're not sure how it's going to work out, or like,
Agreed.
I don't think we ever. So I think that's actually like if you think about somebody who's brave, you think about like they had the fear, but they did it anyway. Um,
Right.
so, and I think yeah. So I think like confidence goes along with that. Um, Even if you don't know like 100% that you can do something, I think it's just teaching our brains and our bodies that it's okay to feel that like nervousness or anxiety or fear or whatever you want to call it, but doing it anyway, you know? And I
Yeah.
think that like when we feel really, and insecurity goes along with that, in that same realm, but I think as we practice it more and like, because our brains like naturally want to keep us safe. Like, even if it's something new and it's good, our brain's like, oh,
Mhm.
it's new. We're not doing that. Nope. So it holds us back.
Right.
Um, and I think the more that we can challenge, and it can be very little things, it can be saying no to somebody. It can be, dressing a certain way that makes you feel good. It can, doing anything like little tiny choices like that. But
Right.
um, I think the more we practice those things, like those ebbs and flows of like, oh, I feel really confident, and then and then I do something. And I think as we practice it more, those like ebbs and flows get a little bit less, as far as like the high highs and the low lows. Not that they can't happen ever, but like I think it's just a practice we have to keep doing because it's never like, oh, I've arrived. I'm forever and always confident. It's
Right.
like
Well, also
skill we have to keep
confidence.
doing.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Say that
Oh, it's
again.
okay. I was just like, I think I think sometimes people think that, oh, she was born confident or that she's just a confident person. I maybe, but I think it's actually a skill. 99% of it's a skill that,
Yeah.
they've been able to work on. So,
Yeah, and I've had recently someone said to me something about my confidence, and I was thinking about how that shows up for me internally. And it's that I've done it enough. I've walked into the scary enough,
Hmm.
into just being myself, saying something and not knowing how it's going to land,
Yeah.
that I know I can roll with it. I am not going to die because, if you've never done something, it really does feel like you're going to die.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Absolutely.
it's right. And
Yeah.
then, so I know I have confidence also that if I screw up, I will apologize.
Sure. Yeah.
So knowing all of that is what I need to know to feel confident. And the word confident means, I think, with faith.
Mm,
So
exactly.
it's with faith in yourself,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is
And I think faith,
really
speaks to not knowing it 100%. You're going out on faith. Like you build on the experiences you've done in the past. Like, okay, I did this thing, I did this, I did this. This is something totally new, but I know I've done these other things that I weren't sure about, but I can, I'm going to take faith in myself that I did those last time. Now I'm going to try this new thing. So,
exactly. And it builds, doesn't it? So it's
yep,
not like you have to start over from zero every time.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
start here, then you do something brave, you go here, and then you're
Yeah,
back. I can do something now.
exactly. Exactly.
Well,
So,
listen, can people work with you? They work with you. Where are you located?
So I'm located near Baltimore, Maryland. My studio's near
Okay.
the area. And so that's, where we do a lot of the work. I mean, I'm open to traveling. So if someone's curious about doing something like that, I'm happy to. You
Great.
can find me online. I'm currently in the middle of a 30-day confidence challenge. So whenever you're watching this,
Ooh.
if you're watching this, close to when we put this out in the world, or, you
Well,
can.
yeah. It's the 24th. It's the 24th of September today, so I'll try to get it out as soon as I can for
Well,
you.
it's a 30-day challenge leading up to my 49th birthday. So I was like, so that was I was like, okay, 49, we're gonna embrace this. And so I'm like, all right, every day for 30 days leading up to my birthday, we're doing a little bit of a confidence challenge. So yeah, but those will always be, something that'll be kind of evergreen. So if you're ever want to curious about being able to like just give yourself a little bit of
Oh,
a challenge, you can do that too. So I think it's always good reminders. So with the previous day, we had wearing a power outfit or accessory. Like, how does that make you
hmm
feel?
hmm
Yesterday was just giving a little bit of like practice saying no, you know? And then what's today? Today is, I have to look up what today was. Sometimes it was just like looking in the mirror. I've with a lot of women who like said they haven't looked in the mirror in a long time. And just
Wow.
yeah. So it's just little, honestly, it's these little tiny things that, like you said, just kind of build those steps of like putting yourself out there a little bit at a time. Oh, I know. Today's challenge is to look at somebody who you think is confident and tag them, get to know them, say hi to them, whatever it is, just kind of be in their world a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, so just reaching out. And that feels good for whoever it is because we all like to be like, oh, someone's noticed me, someone sees me. So
Yes.
returning that favor to somebody who we think is confident or we admire something about their confidence. So
That's
that's,
brilliant. I love that. That's
yeah,
it's so kind and it's so community nurturing.
yes, yeah, because we all want to, I mean, like I have a tattoo, don't we deserve to be seen? Like, so we all want that in some capacity.
That's so brilliant. Oh my God. Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Definitely.
What is the one thing you wish you could tell your clients
Mm.
that you're like, I don't know if they'd be comfortable with that, but you do wish women knew.
Ooh. Um, just to take a chance on themselves, you know, even if whatever that means for them, if it means applying for a new job, if it means saying no to a friend, if it means,
Right.
just taking a chance on doing something that they know is good for them.
Yep.
And even if it doesn't go the way you planned, that's okay. You still have the evidence that you stepped out and you did the thing and you did the thing, even though you were nervous. Regardless of the outcome, like you still took that step to do something for yourself.
Right.
then you have that evidence that like, okay, I was nervous, I did it anyway. Did or didn't go the way I planned, doesn't matter. I still know that I can do it again the next time. So yeah, just to take a chance on themselves.
You need to get a little stamp with one of those stamp pads and it has the word badass on it and just stamp it on people's foreheads after they do their
Yeah,
session.
I like that. Maybe that'll be my next tattoo. I'll put that on my on the rest of here.
Listen, do you
So,
do remote work in any way? I can't imagine how that would work, but do you?
not for photography, no. But I have done some confidence coaching for women. So that may be something we're adding into the mix here. But definitely, if you follow me, I'm on all the socials, Shayna Hardy or Shayna Hardy Photography. So yeah, you can find ways there. So connect
And
with
for
me.
the
I answer my messages. I see the comments and things. So I love just like, getting to know people online too.
would you spell your name for those who might be blind or having
Yeah.
trouble in that way?
No, if you're listening, yeah, not watching. So it's Shayna, Shayna, and last name is Hardy, Hardy.
Brilliant, brilliant. I'm so grateful. Thank you for coming on to this show. It is
Hmm.
just so cool. I love the work you're doing.
Thank you,
And
Lori.
I keep getting images of me coming to Baltimore to work with you to also what's it called? To co-work,
Ooh,
where I'll
love
get the
that.
women up on their feet and
Yes,
being confident, and then you'll be like, oh, yeah, yes,
that,
yes.
that. I love it. That'd be awesome. That'd be a fun workshop.
That would be fun. All right. Well, have a wonderful day, and we'll do this again sometime when you get that confidence coaching launched, and we can just like expand the conversation because that's cool stuff.
I love that. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks, Lori. I appreciate it.
No problem. And thank everybody for listening. Thank you. Thank you. And please do subscribe. It makes all of the YouTube gods really happy.
Thank you.
Love and Moxie. Bye bye.